to help solve. And so that's a little bit about us, or a little bit about me, and I'm really passionate about you all because I believe that you each can solve a major problem in the world with a little application, a little thinking, a little creativity. Elon Musk said, teach problem solving. Check, you're at the right place. It's important to teach to the problem, not to the tools. All right, standard education teaches you all about the tools. You can learn the tools, you can get really good at the tools, but can you apply them to the problem? That's the question. That's a lot tougher. So teach to the problem and then work backwards. What tools do I need to fix the problem? That's kind of where we start. Kevin Olson, Dr. Kevin Olson, that's my father. Really great guy. I aspire to be like him. Learn how to learn. Everything else comes easy. All right, that's some pretty good advice. If you can learn how to read faster, everything you read is going to be faster. If you can learn how to take tests, you got a lot of tests in high school, huh? Can I get an amen to that? All right, but if you can learn 5 minutes faster, like your test prep is 5 minutes more efficient, times that by 1,000 tests, all right, now you saved yourself almost like 100 hours. Yeah, now we're talking. Let's play some frisbee golf or something. But if you learn how to learn, everything else comes easy. If you learn how to problem solve, when you get to the problems, you're going to be able to face them a little bit more equipped. All right, so we're going to pause there. I want you to turn to your immediate surrounding people. Maybe let's do groups of 3 or 4, and tell them why you picked the problem that you picked. Did you pick one on the list? Did one stand out? Maybe not a pick. Did it stand out? 1 or 2, give you a few minutes here. Go ahead. I'll give you 1 more minute. Try to wrap up. If somebody didn't get to talk, go ahead and ask them what they picked. Well, that was less than a minute, but I heard the consensus dying down. That means it's time to get back to the topic. Cool. Well, I hope that you've identified something on this list. Again, there's big issues in the world and there's small issues. These are some of the bigger ones, but you can also solve a lot of small problems too. And so part of the process where it begins is identifying needs. I've given you a little bit of a head start on some needs, but you might be uniquely accustomed or acquainted with other needs. Identifying needs is where it starts. If you can learn to say, wow, that's an issue, what's the problem there? What's the need there? Think about alcoholism here on the list. What is somebody really trying to get when they get addicted to alcohol? They're probably trying to relax, right? They're probably trying to find a social network that they relate with, hence they go to the bar a lot. They're probably kind of a little bit of an enthusiast personality where they're maybe like, wow, I got to try all the beers and I got to be like, right? What is the need there? Maybe they're trying to impress their friends with how much they can drink, right? There are needs underneath the issue of alcoholism that is causing the person to be that way or to experience that issue. So what is the need underneath the problem, or what's the cause factor of that problem? Poke the issues with good questions. So you got an issue, you've chosen one on the list. Start to poke it. Even now, you have permission to be distracted and poke it a bit. Why is this thing happening? Why is that the case? What should be happening? What external factors are in this situation here that's making this problem be what it is? What impact would it have if I could solve this problem? Okay, who would be affected by that? And is it worth the risk of fixing it? Or if I get involved, is it worth the risk to me or to my loved ones if I was to try to fix this thing? Some issues are like a spider web, a bit. And you touch one end of the issue, and all of a sudden you've created an issue somewhere else. You know? Or maybe in another way, dominoes. Like, you touch the issue in one area, and all of a sudden you've caused the issue somewhere else. All right, let's say that, let's bring an African example into this. This is rice. I think it's 20 pounds, 15. Basmati, good tasting rice. All right. Let's say that the crops fail in Tanzania, which happens from time to time. The rains didn't come, and so the crops failed. You've heard the song, I Bless the Rains in Africa. That's why. Bless those rains. They sometimes come late, and then the crops fail. All right, so what am I going to do? I got a whole bunch of people who have no food. All right, well, maybe I'm going to call up Donald Trump and be like, hey, Donald Trump, how about you send a boatload of rice to this particular area so we can feed all these hungry people? Thank you. And call, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to do it. Like, we're going to get it done. Or Elon Musk is like, yeah, we're going to send that rice. Okay, great. So now the rice is on the way. People get it. They're happy, right? We made it through 1 year of crop failure. That's awesome, right? Or is it? What issues did I create? In the process of moving the rice, I created higher prices here where the rice originated. Did I affect the people who could then buy that rice in the place of origin? All right, I've created transportation. I've moved the rice to here. How am I ensuring that the rice is being distributed to the people who need it at an effective way so that people aren't hoarding it or people aren't getting unfair access to the rice? There's a lot of issues even in just solving something like that. Or another one, am I causing the people to not think carefully about the crops that they are planting in those areas? Or about the fact that they don't have irrigation. And that's why the crops failed, is because not just did the rains not fall, there was no backup irrigation. So now I've kind of put a Band-Aid on that bleeding wound, and I've said, yes, I've brought the rice, but did I actually create a problem for a future year when the crops fail again? What are they going to do then? What if Donald Trump just says, no, we're not sending the rice this year? All right? Do you get it? Sometimes you solve the issue, and then somewhere else there's another issue. When you're doing this process of identifying the need, you have to think about the need at whole and at scale, and think about the solutions in the same way. And we're going to get to poking more at the solutions, but just think of issues are kind of like that. Sometimes they're like a spider web, or sometimes they're like a domino thing, and there's lots of issues. All right, look at your personal giftedness. What experiences have I had that qualify me to tackle this issue? Or how do I need to build my capacity more to solve this issue? If you chose preventable disease or emergency room emergencies, right, hospital emergencies, nobody is born a surgeon, right? Like, you might be born with a little bit extra, gamer skills, and you got that dexterity boost. Good for you. But you're not born a surgeon. You have to build capacity. You have to go to school. You have to get trained. You have to go learn how to use the tools. You have to try, probably on some dead people, sorry. But then you have to try those skills, and then you have to become a surgeon. How do you have to build your capacity? You might need to get some education, or you might need to get some experience, or you might need to get some resources so that you can fix the issue. And then we begin with the creative process. Once I've identified the need, we're going to move to the creative process. And don't think you're off the hook. You got more discussion ahead of you, all right? So I hope you're thinking these steps through a little bit as you're thinking about your issue. Think of all the possible solutions to the issue. You know what I love about kids? They're like, we should build a giant laser. And then they're just like, yeah, let's do it. Like, if we had a giant laser, we would blast it, and it would kill all the killer whales and sharks, and it would be perfect. Everybody could swim great. All right, so the kids, they just think about the maximum possible solution, and sometimes it's unrealistic, maybe, We would make a rice-making machine. It would make synthetic rice, and it would be awesome. You need a little bit of that in your problem solving to have a childlike mind that just puts all the options out there. Maybe it's not possible. Maybe it is possible. This stage of the problem solving isn't for possible or impossible. This stage is what is all the potential solutions? What is all the possibilities? What, even the ones that are probably not practical? Get them on a page. Write them down. Think them out. Then start asking more questions of those issues. Who can solve this? What is the answer? Who, what, where, when, how? How do we solve this in a timely fashion? You could ask those questions. I like the other questions a little bit more. Is there a piece of this that might not be working? And I'm thinking about the rice issue again. Is there a piece of this that might not be working? How can we create systems that don't create dependencies? How do we make maybe like a solar-powered water pump that could irrigate the field for free? Is there a piece that might not be working? Maybe the piece that's not working is that we're depending on the rain, right? What if we stopped depending on the rain to grow the food? Whoa, I got a good one for you here in a little bit. If you're an agriculture guy, you might have some fun today. Another question, what are the underlying causes of the issue? It's kind of going back to the need a little bit. But what is the underlying cause of the issue? We talked about the alcoholism thing a little bit. Maybe the cause of the issue is that there aren't enough healthy options for socializing in the area. Or maybe we are creating systems that glorify that lifestyle, even though it's really a messy, hard lifestyle, right? What are the causes of the issue? What would it look like if this was fixed and helped? And this kind of goes back to the identifying the need, thinking creatively. What would the world look like if I could fix this one thing? Or maybe just push that one foot in the right direction, maybe. Yeah. Think about it. Discuss. Listen. All right, now you guys are multitaskers. I know the Gen Z and people younger than me are always multitasking. So I know that you've had your sheet now for a good 20 minutes, and you've had it, and you thought, I'm going to think about one of these. Maybe you even have some ideas by now. What is like a possible solution? And here's the thing. I want you to be able to share with those people near you and not think about, is this practical? We're going to get there. Is this realistic? We're going to get there. What are the possible solutions to the issue that you selected? And I want you to listen. When somebody else is talking, I want you to just not be thinking about what are you going to say. Just like focus on what they're saying and listen to what they're saying to you, because it's going to help you think better about issues too. All right, go ahead. You get 3 or 4 minutes. We'll come back together. Okay. I love seeing this. I love seeing people being like, huh, and people being like, ooh, like, and I was watching some of your groups, and some of you guys were responding even to other people's solution, and I thought that was good. That's active listening. That means you're listening and you're responding to other people's things. So cool stuff. I really want to hear some of your things. So what I'm hoping they're going to wrap up my stuff here pretty quick, and then you guys can get a chance to grab this mic and say, hey, this is my issue. This is what I think we could do to solve it. Cool? Sound good? Let's try to power through, and then we're going to get to that, because I really want to hear some of your ideas. Focus on creating value. Value is very important in life. Learn how to create things of value. Here's something I created here. This is a Tanzanite necklace. All right, so the Tanzanite is not worth a lot if it's uncut. This is cut Tanzanite. The chain is not worth a lot by itself. You know, the setting is worth its weight in silver. But you put them all together, and now you created value, right? Somebody is willing to exchange money for a necklace because it's something they'll pass on to their kids. It's worth money. It's precious metal. It's scarce. They're going to look good if they wear it. Lots of reasons, right? Create value as you solve the issue. How are you creating value as you solve the issue? Google says value is importance, worth, or usefulness. I think that's pretty good. Merriam-Webster says monetary worth, relative worth, utility, or importance. That's another definition of value. You know, value is when you have something that's worth something, and so you're giving something, and that's why I put my definition there, the price of exchange. There are certain things you would never part with, even for all the money in the world, right? Family being one of them. Many others. Everything is worth the price of exchange. Jesus is the ultimate problem solver, because when he saw the problem of your sin, he said, you are worth the price of exchange. My life for yours. And he stepped into your problem of sin and said, I'm going to give myself fully to solve the sin issue. Isn't that a cool problem solver? Yeah. Jesus paid the price. The thing about Jesus that I think we could learn a little bit, look at how he creates value as he attaches himself to the problem. You know, you maybe chose homelessness, maybe. As you attach yourself to the issue of homelessness, now you're communicating to every single homeless person that you touch, you're worth my time. You're worth my money, my love, my effort. You create value as you apply yourself to these issues. Just like Jesus created the value as he gave himself to you, the exchange. All right? Think about that. And what that brings up is that there's actually a couple different types of value. You have monetary value and eternal value. You can exchange monetary value often for eternal value. But I pity the person who has no eternal wealth, who has only monetary wealth. And they've just never thought of it. We actually have to have both. In your life, you're going to need money, and ministry requires money. So I'm not saying money's bad, and eternity is the only value you should create. But you should be thinking about eternal value, because it's the only thing that's going to be here in 10 million years. The eternal value you created. So think about it. And I think that that's why the Bible college is important. We're going to get to that. It trains you how to create eternal value. And it trains you to see eternal value. And when you apply yourself to solutions and problems, you're creating eternal value, not just monetary value. So something to think about. Solutions that work. We're coming up to the final points here. Solutions that work have to meet certain criteria to be a workable solution. So now we're going to take the possible solution, we're going to pick them apart a little bit. These are 5 ways you can pick them apart. There's probably a lot more. Is it sustainable? Can I bring that rice every single year? Or is it not sustainable? Is it morally acceptable? Okay, I can rush through a treatment for cancer, but I have to test it on a bunch of people who are unwilling and unknowing. All right, that doesn't sound very ethical. Maybe you're getting to the cancer treatment or cure, but are you doing it with people who are willing and understand that they're being tested on and and so on and so forth. Another ethical one is the planned obsolescence. I don't know if any of you picked that one. Products that break on purpose. See, somebody was like, hey, if we make something that's too good, people won't buy it again because it'll last forever. Let's make it break. All right, not ethical. Yes, you're increasing profits, but that is not ethical. All right, so you have to run your solutions through these possibilities. Value, is it creating understood value? Notice that word understood. Every single inventor you ever meet has a million ideas that they think are great, but can they communicate the value to someone else? If that's tough, it's going to be tough to go with that solution because it's going to be tough to communicate that value. Can it be scaled? Can it be replicated? The U.S. Army or Navy, I can't recall, maybe it was the Navy or the Air Force, flew a child across the country for a transplant, I believe it was a kidney transplant, and they saved the kid's life. A lot of resources, a lot of jet fuel, a lot of man hours, but they saved his life. All right, so that's really cool, and maybe in some cases we can do that, but can it be scaled? There's only a limited number of jets and a limited number of jet fuel and budget and all this. Okay, so can it be scaled and replicated? That's something you have to ask. Is it efficient? Is the final output worth the investment? That's a tough one, especially when you're talking about eternal value. All right, I have to spend $1 million to translate the Bible into the Karewe language, and 5,000 people get saved. How do you even run that equation? I mean, that's impossible to run. But it's something that you should think about as you do other types of problem solving. How much gain or benefit am I getting for the amount of time and energy and people spent? So let's look at a few. All right, here's a cool one. This is a ball. It's really big. It rolls on the ground by air power, wind power, and detonates landmines. That's really cool because landmines are a big issue. This, in my mind, fails the ethics maxim because, yes, we rolled a ball around, but did we hit every square inch of that field? Can you know that for certain? Are you willing to walk on that field afterwards? If the answer is no, you should have had a solution that hit every single square inch. So it's a cool idea. Maybe they'll tweak it a bit, make it a little better. I hope so. Kind of cool. All right, here's another one. Electric knife that toasts the bread as you cut it. Oh yeah, sweet. Return on investment? Definitely. I am now Darth Vader. This is awesome. But did it create a house fire for someone? Did a child get a hold of it and now he's Darth Vader and now he's burning things and ooh. All right, so ethics maxim, probably not. Vertical farming. Now this is a cool one. Brand new technology within the last 10 years. You can use LEDs and trays, and you can stack farms multiple stories high. Robots can then grab the trays or people, and then you can create a ton of food. The water loss of a system like this is almost zero because all the water that exits the building is inside the plants. So you're converting a ton of energy efficiency, a ton of water efficiency, and you're growing food in areas that food can't be grown. So this is pretty cool. I think it probably passes the test of all 5 of those. So run your solutions through a few things. Pringles solution, all right, yeah. Who hates getting their hand in a Pringles tube? Yeah, me. So a kid was like, what if we had a thing? He developed it, somebody crafted it on a 3D printer, and now it's a thing, a real thing. It's like, wow, that's really sweet. I would buy one. As long as it doesn't, like the sustainability maxim, is this gonna create landfill waste? It's worth it. All right, next one. This is a robot. The robot can make fries. Wow. Okay, so it's gonna scoop the fries. Anybody see Iron Man? The little... That's what I thought when I saw this. I need one of these. It's gonna do my laundry. Okay, wow, look at that. The cool thing about this is who doesn't love fries, right? I think this fails our 5 maxim test. Do you know why? All right, so he's gonna dunk the fries. It's gonna fry the fries. It's gonna dispense the fries. You get the point, right? Why would this fail the maxim test? It's actually causing unemployment. One of the biggest issues with automation is what do you do once you've automated everything? What do people do then? Once everything can be done better by a robot, what's the point of having a human do it at all? So is the solution actually contributing to another problem somewhere else? Yes, it's efficient. Yes, it's great fries. Yes, it's ticking a lot of boxes. But is it creating an issue? It kind of is. But maybe the issue is then we have to adapt as a society to different roles. But kind of weird. Excuse me. Man, I should have a mute button or something, sorry. Solutions that work are all of those. So just think about your issue, your solution that you gave, and think, does it match up to all these? I'm going to try to finish up everything else in 5 minutes so that we'll have 5 minutes of sharing. If you want to share, think about it, be ready. Another, avoid Band-Aid fixes. Like if I live next to a garbage dump and I want my house to smell great, I can just like deploy all the Febreze, right? But then, that's going to cost me a lot of money. It's going to probably not be the best solution. Maybe I can move the landfill, but then somebody else has to deal with stinky trash. Maybe what I really need is a Westinghouse plasma torch that ingests trash, creates energy, creates recyclable byproducts, and is like green tech because it produces more energy than it consumes. Sweet, let's get them going, right? That's expensive. Apply yourself to the problem. So you have this problem, you've got the solution, you want to jump in. Maybe you're wondering, how do I jump in? I'm sitting at the edge of this problem, I really want to do something. Maybe I'm only a small part of the solution, but I want to jump in now. What do I do? How do I get started? Ask these questions of yourself today. How do I need to grow? How do I need to get equipped? How do I need to change? How do I need to connect with others to solve this problem? All right, when you solve your problem and you become a billionaire, remember that the schools with kindness, and remember me with kindness, please. But how do you need to change? What are those connections that you need to start now so that you can do something about that thing? Maybe it's not your career. Maybe it is. But you can do something towards fixing that problem. That is why I think that the schools is a great investment here. I'm a graduate of the schools here and the seminary as well. I believe that with the correct foundation, you approach problems differently. You approach relationships differently. You approach your future differently. And that's why I believe that it's a good investment to study the Word of God. Because you gain wisdom, you gain insight that you can't get from just anybody. You can get God's wisdom on your side. And you will be grounded. You won't get to the end of your life having made a ton of monetary value, but having made zero eternal value. Right? Nobody wants to be that guy. You don't want to be that guy. Anyway, think about it. That's why I think that a Bible education is a good idea. This Bible education is a great idea. So I want you to get a chance now. We actually made our goal. Good job, team. Way to go listening. So now we got a chance to share. Come on up, make a little line. If you want to just share what your idea was, it can be like 5 seconds. Hey, I'm so-and-so. I chose this one. This is my idea of how to fix it. Let's have an open mic time for 5 minutes, and then I'm going to share one final remark, and then we'll close in prayer, all right? So if you've got an idea, or I can even bring you the mic. Is that even better?
Check. Mic check. Raise your hand if you want to share your idea.
Badoosh. Let's go. Say your name.
Hi, I'm Caleb Cox. I chose traffic deaths, and my plan was to just separate the two sides of the road so that way the thing stopping people from slamming into each other wasn't a yellow line.
Yeah. Love it. Let's go. Let's go. That's great. All right, we got an idea over here. Let's go. All right. Say your name and, yeah.
I'm Abby. I chose the nuclear waste storage one. So one of the big problems with nuclear waste is once uranium decays, eventually it decays into lead, but once it decays out of being uranium, it's not useful anymore when you do like nuclear power plants and stuff. But the in-between elements between uranium and lead are also radioactive, so you have to figure out something to do with those, but it takes a really long time to completely decay. So I was thinking, why not we figure out a way to make it decay faster? instead of
Yeah, let's go.
instead of just putting it in the concrete bunker underground for like 1,000 years.
Woo, man, we got some smart people in here. Woo. I like it. I like it a lot. Man, mind blown on both of these. Okay, who else? Who's got an idea? Doesn't have to be that profound. I'm just saying, but those were amazing. Okay, anybody else? Or if you raise both your hands, you can make me answer one of the issues. All right. Anybody else want to share? Let me ask this: do either of you have personal experience with either of those issues from your life? Yes. Do you want to tell us, like, what's your experience with traffic deaths, Caleb?
No direct experience with actually dying because I'm alive, but
Yeah.
I was hit by a drunk driver in 2017, so
Wow.
I don't enjoy traffic.
Cool. Do you have a personal link? Okay. It's just interesting. Sometimes the things that you decide to do actually are personally meaningful for you. That's why a lot of kids end up in the same job as their parents, because the parent communicates the value of the job to the kid, and they're like, wow, that's really important. Let me do that. All right. Anyone else want to share your idea? I promise it'll be cool. Yeah. All right. Cool.
Hi, I'm Maddie. My idea was to make it mandatory to take a finance class because there are so many people that know nothing about how to manage money, and their life is held on hold for 20 years paying off debt.
Yeah. Love it. Was yours the credit card debt one? Yes. Okay. Cool. I see a hand here. Did you have your hand up? Did I see somebody in this area with a hand? Maybe? All right. I know open mics are kind of like, I don't know if I want to do it. I was that guy. I actually was super shy. I was homeschooled. Super shy. I would never have wanted to do this. And then a few open mic testimony things later, and I was like starting to enjoy it. And so, yeah, just be warned. Like, you get an open mic a few times, and then you might become a pastor or something. Right? So, anybody else want to jump in quick? Yeah.
I'm Megan Steele. I did bullying in school, and I think that we should have therapists for all of the kids, so they can express their anger through someone a little more trained to take it, and then hopefully it would prevent it.
Wow, everybody, let's give it up for that. That's great. Love it. Okay, I think we got time for one more, maybe. If you have one, raise your hand. Sometimes the idea requires you. Sometimes the idea requires you to share it with somebody who's in power, who can manage that issue. Like, let's say homelessness is an issue in your area. What if you could take that issue to your pastor, to your church committee, and say, hey, once we pay off our mortgage on our church building, why don't we build a shelter across town for homeless people? They have the power to do something about it, probably. Maybe you don't have the money to do it, but you can bring the idea to them, and now you're connecting people, right? Cool stuff. Anybody else want to share? I'm loving these. These are great. So now I'm going to be thinking about nuclear waste storage for like days and days. Oh yeah, we got one here. Okay.
I'm Bella Benson, and I chose illiteracy. And so my idea was to open like a free like reading lessons or writing lessons in like local libraries for children.
Woo, yeah, I love it. Will you come work for us in Africa? Because illiteracy is a big issue. Awesome idea. Free classes, free idea. Okay, I saw 2 hands back there. Did you have an idea? Did you want me to try to answer? Or is that just a raise the roof? Oh yeah, no, I am too, man. I'm like, wow, these are so great. Well, cool. I know there's probably others, and some of you guys were shy like me as a homeschooler and didn't want to say anything. Like, okay, cool. The point is you had an idea, and you had a solution, and you had a possible way to apply yourself to an issue. Closing words. James 1:15. If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. It's a promise. God said, ask me for wisdom, I will give it to you. Promise. Take it to the bank. So, what issue, what problem is mine to solve? This started with you, it ends with you. What are you going to do about it? Yes, your idea, you might be one step away from Elon Musk, one good idea away from him. you might be one good idea away from Billy Graham in terms of how are you going to apply yourself to the fact that so many people need Jesus. Think about it. Blessings on you guys. I want to close in prayer and just say thanks to God for all the genius minds he's given out here. Lord, thank you so much for this session and for just the creative energy you've given to these students. I pray you will bless them in that. And as they encounter new problems and new issues, you give them the power and the willingness to step into those issues and apply themselves. Even, Lord, as you applied yourself to our sin issue and you came for us and you gave your life in exchange for us, I pray that you would also give us the same passion and the same zeal to go out and give our lives in exchange for others and in showing love to them. And Lord, I pray if there's anyone here that has a little kernel of something that could really change the world, that would just stick in their mind and be a burr under the saddle until they finally get on and get doing about it. Thank you, Lord, for Campus Days and for the rest of the time. Please bless it in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you all.
Thanks.